What is going on, you guys? It is your boy Cyrus Obsidian here at Obsidian Games, here to bring you more Yu-Gi-Oh content. So let's dive right in. So for today, I've been looking over some of the content we've posted, and it occurred to me that I never actually posted a updated combo guide for Pendulum Magician. My old one is an outdated one from a different profile that I'd use, and it's not the most recent profile that I'm using. And honestly, this profile is much better, more consistent, and honestly, it does pretty much the exact same thing that that other profile did, but with less steps. And this one is able to run more hand traps for this upcoming meta that we have been in. Also, this deck is just really great overall. So let me dive into showing you what this deck is truly capable of and what you guys can do with it and what you can change with it. So let me show you the profile that we're running with, and then we'll run into some test hands. So here we are. This is the profile that I am running with. You can totally ignore the side deck. This is something that I am still trying to work out. It's not solid, but it's also not bad either. So it's left to be changed and it's left to be updated. But otherwise, everything else, I definitely highly recommend playing the deck this way. So starting out, we are playing 3 copies of Nibiru with 3 Ash and 3 Imperm for our hand traps. So I think this is just a pretty good hand trap lineup going into this meta. Effect Negation, the Ash being able to stop things, and Nibiru. Honestly, a well-timed Nibiru can really stop a lot of decks, and that includes Snake Eye. You just have to be very careful on what your other hand traps are if you open any. Since this is Pendulum, you're more likely going to see Engine rather than the non-Engine. But we still decided to go with 9 non-Engine cards, or being hand traps. That way there is some consistency in seeing them, but you're not seeing like overly abundant. Like your hand's not going to be saturated with, one of each. Just to let you know. Moving away from our hand trap lineup, we are still playing 3 copies of Supreme King Gate Magician, because this card is what really helps push this deck along. 1 copy of Astrograph. When you have Astrograph, this deck is phenomenal and it's amazing. And even if you have to search it out with Beyond the Pendulum, still the deck is great. Next, we go into Supreme King Gate 0, which we only do play 1 copy of. I think playing 1 is it. You don't need to play 2 copies of. If you're seeing Cosmic Cyclones a lot and you're not having follow-up scales, then sure, play another copy. But like, honestly, even with Cosmic Cyclone being in this format, I still happen to play well under just 1. Because if it gets banished, we still play a lot of low scales. We still play Supreme King Gate 0, we still play Astrograph. So we're not really hurting for low scales. And then the 1 Oath Dragon, which if you don't happen to summon it out, you can use that as a low scale too. But this is really for the Baron plays. That's all that's really there. Then we play 2 copies of Supreme King Dragon Dark Worm. I think 2 is enough. You don't need to play 3. You don't need to play 1. You can play 1. I highly recommend playing 2 though, just to be on the safe side. Then we're playing 3 Skullcrobat, because Skullcrobat really searches out anything and everything in this deck, which is really great. Wisdom Eye is also just another key combo piece that really helps push this deck further. Double Iris Magician, again, this is another combo piece that kind of helps solidify a lot of your plays, interruptions, follow-ups, etc. We also play 1 Supreme King Dragon Lightworm, so I think playing 1 is really solid. You don't need to play 2, 3, again, just 1 of this card. You don't want to open it up, but you do want to see it later down in your combos, whether that's searching out off of Wings of Light or even off of the Supreme King Gate Magician. You have that opportunity to search it. So playing it at 1 is totally fine. You only ever need the 1. And then our last Pendulum piece is Harmonizing Magician. Harmonizing really gets us access into our Synchro plays and our Exceed plays if we really need them, but really just our Synchro plays are what we're aiming for here. Sweeping over the Ash, we do play 1 copy of Triple Tactics Talent. We have noticed when we have played more than 1 copy in this deck particularly, we tend to brick on it very often. So I think playing 1, if not none, would be a better solution for it. But I think playing it at 1 is really helpful for this deck, because it does let us, sneak a peek at our opponent's hand, see what they're playing, or steal something if we're going second, drawing 2 if we're not under draw. So there are things that this card is really helpful in having. Then we played 3 copies of Dragon Shrine with 1 Foolish Burial. I think this is just really solid overall, just being able to send the Supreme King Dragon Dark Worm to the grave using its effect special, and we'll kind of show that in some combo videos. We do play one Call by the Grave because that just really hits any of the major hand traps that we need to, the Effect Veilers, Ghost Mourners, DD Crow, Droll, Ash. Now this deck doesn't really hurt against like DD Crow. Ash can be impactful in the right place. I think this deck's biggest weakness would be Droll and Nibiru. But if you're a smart enough player, you can play under both. And that's where some of the extra deck comes in. But honestly, this deck is just really resilient, and it's really great on the follow-up, especially if your opponent can't kill you. Then we play 3 Wings of Light, because Wings of Light searches us any of the Supreme King stuff that we're playing. We play 1 star and 1 time Pendulum Graph, because those are our resource managers and our interrupts that we use. Moving on to the extra deck, we are playing 1 Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. Since we only ever need to play the 1, we just play the 1. For Synchros, we are playing Baron de Fleur, Borreload Savage, and the Ignis or Prominence, the Blackshin Draco Slayer. These are more interrupts, the Baron and the Borreload. Those are meant to be negates, just Omni negates, because it's really nice to have those Omni negates in the deck. Most of the times you are summoning Baron over Borreload. You can do both. You got to be really great about being able to play both. Like, you have to be like really dedicated on a combo line to get both. So just putting that out there. And then Ignis or Prominence is good going second. Being able to just non-target removal is really great, especially in this format. We do play 1 Typhon because, yes, there are instances where going into Typhon is just really game-changing. I've won games because of Typhon, so we play Typhon. Odd Eyes Rebellion is really for your Supreme King Gate Magician, being able to just pitch that going forward. Later down the line, you'll be able to use Double Iris to be able to send that, since that is treated as a Pendulum Dragon card. We do play the 1 Absolute to get into our Odd Eyes Vortex. We play Baguska and Dweller, since shutting off some part of the format is great, whether it's the graveyard or just shutting off your opponent from activating monster effects in the main monster zone. But being in a link saturated format, Baguska is going to have a little harder of effect. But if you aren't seeing this tier 0 format affect your locals, then go for it, play it. I think this deck is solid in a locals where you're not seeing that tier 0 format. And if you are seeing the tier 0 format, you will have a hard time playing the deck, but the deck is still really good. I've been able to sneak W's off of Snake Eye Fire King, Snake Eyes before, so this isn't impossible to play. You just have to rely on A, Yu-Gi-Oh players not being able to read cards, which happens, and B, your opponent not knowing where to hit. And if they don't know where to hit, then you are like square to just pop off. Moving on to our links, we play 2 Beyond the Pendulum. I think playing 2 is really solid. I see most cases people playing 1. The only reason why I would ever go to 1 is if Electromite comes back. But knowing Konami, they hate Pendulum players and Pendulum stuff, so I don't think Electromite comes back as much as I'm coping. But that would be the only reason why I would not play 2 Beyond, is because my other spot is dedicated to Electromite. We're playing 1 Selene, 1 Exceed, so this in the past used to be interchangeable where I'd swap them out, but I think playing it like this is really good. Just going second, you can use Selene to revive, if any of your Pendulums do get dumped into the graveyard, or any of your Pendulum spellcasters, right? You're able to revive them off Selene. Exceed is more the one that I use in the combo lines most of the times. Selene is that just in case for link climbing if I really need to. Then we play Apollosa and Access Code, which Selene and Access Code is a classic. So just need to double check my mic was on. So that's where that comes in. And then the side, like I said, it's totally changeable. It's not solid. Honestly, we're thinking about changing it. Dropping probably the DD Crows for Cyclones, and maybe even these 2 extra deck slots, because there's only been one time where our Psychic End really did anything for me, and Scarlight just has done nothing, so we're probably going to end up dropping it. The Bestial package is, I think, really solid, because if you happen to dump any of these into the grave, which, the only card that you're playing that's not a light or dark would be Oath Dragon and Ash. So a lot of the times you have those targets to make the Bestials live for yourself, and also playing in the tier 0 format again. Hitting the Link Haribo is going to be detrimental, hitting the IP Masquerena those two will be essential for the Snake Eye Fire Kings. It does hinder them a bit, and it's really great. So you can play it. I am thinking about keeping this, but dropping the Phantasmes and dropping the Psychic Ant in the Starlight. But still debating. So now that we have seen what the deck profile is, since I've changed it, let's hop on into an AI match, and we'll show you what this deck can do. So we're going to be playing against Sourceful, and so unfortunately I don't have the Ash to hit the Desires, but we do have Imperm and Nibiru, and so we're going to be pretty solid here, being able to throw interrupts. Nibiru will be useful for us to be able to go into Beyond the Pendulum, which is going to be a really great key. Oh man, he goes into Long Yuan, Evil Long Yuan, and you know what? This is a perfect time to drop Nibiru. So we'll go ahead and drop Nib. We'll give him a token in defense, of course, because it's going to be big. Oh, he's going to bounce the Nibiru back to my hand. That's okay, because we draw for turn to Dragon Shrine, and it's met with Ash, which is totally fine, because that means that these play right here will be able to pop off easily enough. So we'll go ahead and use Wisdom Eye. We're going to scale the double Iris here. We'll go ahead and activate the Supreme King Gate Magician, popping it, scaling the Supreme King Gate 0. And going second, I'm pretty sure here we can go for an OTK. We'll go ahead and special that. We'll go ahead special Harmonizing. If I just special summon it into an Imperm column, I'll be a little upset, but it'll be fine. And of course, right into an Imperm column. So we'll be okay though, because we're going to go ahead search out our we'll search out Wings of Light. We'll go ahead and just use Wings of Light. So I guess this is the one case where you could argue me having the whatchamacallit, a link 2 that I can just link these two off, but it's fine, because we're going to be able to go into, we can go into Exceed, but we'll go into Absolute first. Honestly, we could actually go into Selene. I guess that's the real question. Like, Selene has value because we have 2 spells, and then since these are treated as spells, we get that as well. Our opponent's got tons, I think 1, 2 spells as well, so we'll get value off Selene, but we'll also get value off of Exceed, being able to add back Wisdom Eye if we need it, or even Harmonizing for follow-up. So I think Harmonizing might be the play. No, Selene is still going to be the play, because we want to be able to recur our Supreme King Gates back. So Selene is going to be the better play. Go ahead, special Vortex. It's a darn shame we can't bounce the token, but it's fine. Go ahead, special that out. Then we'll go into access code. Go access code targeting the Selene. We only have 1 link monster in our grave, so we'll banish that. But thankfully our opponent doesn't really have much in terms of follow-up, so we'll just attack for access code. And unfortunate that it's not enough for game. We'll go main 2. We'll go ahead, set the Imperm, and we will pass. So we got 2 interruptions here right out the gate. He goes Emergence. We're just going to go ahead and use Odd Eyes Vortex to negate and destroy it. Go ahead, and it doesn't really matter what you cycle back. We'll cycle back to Harmonizing. And yeah, that's just pretty much game there. So that's going second. So we'll go first. And as you can see, this is a pretty decent hand. We're going to go ahead and normal summon the Skulker Bats. Let's see if Skulker Bat will get negated. Skulker Bat is met with an Imperm, which really does suck. Silence is dead, Ash is dead. Don't have a low scale, so we have to pass. Love the repeats. And of course, Baron to pop, Moe. reveal the special. Yeah, I swear, if I get OTK'd here by the AI, I'm gonna feel really, really bad. He's gonna bear negate it. It's cool. We were hoping he would. Oh, and he's got the tie. Yep, that is 6,000. That is 8,800. That feels really bad. That feels really bad. Yeah, let's get a rematch in, because that was not cool. Go ahead and use Dragon Shrine. We'll send Supreme King. Go Supreme King's affecting Grave. Sucks that this deck loses to a stupid Imperm. See? Imperm again. Thankfully, we got a normal summon. We're going to go ahead and search here. I really wish we could search out Astrograph. And search out the Supreme King. So we'll go ahead and scale double. Scale Supreme King. We'll go Supreme King's effect. Shrine itself, scale the gate 0. Then we'll go into Beyond the Pendulum. Beyond is going to search us out. Harmonizing. Then we'll go ahead and pen summon. Go hand, extra deck, and hand. Go ahead, chain link 1 and chain link 2. We will not use Beyond. We'll search Wings of Light. Harmonizing, we'll go ahead and special out our Oath Dragon Magician. And we will go into Baron. And then, now we'll go Wings of Light since we're under Baron, totally fine. Go ahead and search out a copy of Supreme King Gate Magician because we want to use its effect to special summon. Go ahead and activate its effect. Go ahead and send the Rebellion to special itself. Go into Absolute. We'll go Baron here, popping the double Iris. Triggering double Iris to search. Let's see here. We grab Star first. Yeah, we'll go Star. Things would have played out a little bit differently. Then we'll go into our. Let's see, we've got 3, 4, but we don't got anything in Grave. Oh, we will though. So we'll go into Celine. And then we'll trigger Absolute. Especially the Vortex. Go ahead, use Celine. Bring back the Supreme King Gate Magician. And then in this case, this is where we're going to go into our Exceed. Right? So we need a way to pop double Iris. We've used Baron's pop. Which is unfortunate. Yeah, I don't think I played this one all the way quite through right. We don't need to use its effect because we can just go straight into Opolis here. Go ahead and set the call by. We'll pass. Unfortunate that we don't have the time. Pendulum Graph is another interruption, but we do have 1, 2, 3, 4 forms of interruption. So we'll go Oppo to negate it. Oh, he's gonna go Chalice. Go ahead, use Vortex. Let's shuffle back Harmonizing, negating the Vortex. We'll negate Yeah, to go desires, and we'll go Baron. Fortunate, seeing over my output. But good enough that I was able to stop him. So effect here, we'll pop our double iris just so we can get the search. It's literally the only reason. For time, Star will go ahead and search us out. Wish we could reach our Skull Cravat, but we'll search out Supreme King Gate. We'll go Wings of Light. We can search out the Light Dragon. Yeah, if we did play the Ziyark version, we would be able to special out these guys instead, but since we don't, I'm not able to. So we'll go ahead and normal it, special, or grab this back. Then we can go ahead and activate, special summoning it, because here we can send the, oh shoot, did not want to send the double iris from hand. Helps to read, it helps to read. And then we'll go into Beyond. Not my favorite play, but the play we're going to have to do since I screwed up. So we'll go ahead and search out Double Iris. Go ahead, scale. Go ahead and append 1, 2. And then we'll go straight into Sussy Code. So yeah, this was a little bit of an overkill, roundabout way to do things, but you can see that the potential for this deck is quite high. The ceiling is very much there. You just have to be smart about your plays. Granted, if this were to be an actual duel, there's no way that I'm going to scale my scale 8. So stuff happens, but you live through, you make plays, you learn. As all you players, we should learn, and if we don't learn, then we're not playing the game right. But that's all that I have for you guys today. Sorry that this video was extra long. We'll probably cut up the portion. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you found it very, not entertaining, but informative. So that way you know how to play the deck just a little bit better, and you have fun with it. Because honestly, pendulums are fun. For those of you that hate pendulums, I'm sorry that you have trauma with it. But I think the pendulums are great. They're a fun mechanic. They're really easy to learn. You just have to really dedicate yourself to learning it. If you're able to learn Snake Eye combo lines, you can definitely learn this. But that's it, everyone, and I'll pass it over to you.